Now, they've kept us glued to our screens with their endless drama, but have you ever wondered how the Married at First Sight cast was picked from the 10,000 hopefuls who applied?
Yeah, lots of people want to be part of this, so we've got our hands on the raw audition tapes to give you a bit of a behind-the-scenes look at just how the Looking for Love participants sold themselves to producers to find their potentially perfect match.
So my name is Nina Storosiak.
Sammy Ball.
Nicholas Juranovic.
You want to be fancy, it's Ines Bushich. Lauren?
Full name is Mark Scrivens. I'm 44. I'm 27. 31.
38 years old.
29 from the Sunshine Coast.
Townsville, Newcastle.
We all have weird names.
Do you do?
Yeah, like the eldest one is Cincinnati. Then I've got a brother named Joette, sister Shinette. Then out of nowhere, my parents just turned around and named one of their kids Herbert.
I don't know why I'm single. I couldn't tell you. If I knew, I probably wouldn't be single. I'd be married with 2 kids.
My parents have joked on more than one occasion that I need an arranged marriage.
I've never really been attracted to the bad boys. I've always liked, a more gentleman. Someone who, would open a car door for me.
Just find me someone crazy, absolutely crazy. I don't care if they're a little bit overweight, underweight, midgets, behemoths.
What attracted you to Married at First Sight? Yeah, well, I feel like that would suit me. Like an extreme thing for an extreme girl. At the moment, the flavour is like muscle.
I'm not in a position to talk about hair, but I do like a nice head of hair.
I've had lots of boyfriends.
How many roughly off the top of your head?
Like a lot. I have not been with a man for 8 years.
One night I just ended up having this amazing dream of this masculine figure, like I'm in the Himalayas, just meditating.
It's like watching a train wreck sometimes, like, when people have those out-of-body experiences and they can see themselves. I'm like watching myself going, shut up.
All I want to do is set up, have my white picket fence and a family.
What's your greatest fear?
Being alone, not having children, not ever getting married.
Like, why would you want plain Jane when you could have this that does everything? Like, I cook, I clean, I'm good in the sack apparently, I'm Asian.
I love banter.
Yeah.
I love sarcasm, and I love getting teased, and I love being like getting sarcasm back.
I've lowered my standards. I know this sounds really horrible, but I have lowered my standards.
I hate confrontation.
I'm a bomb thrower. A lot of the time I don't really realise what I've just done.
I feel like these days, who doesn't cheat anymore, honestly? I would own it. I would be like, you know what? It takes 2 to tango. He came up to me too. Okay, and too bad if you can't keep your man.
I come across as intimidating.
Yeah, right.
As hard.
I know what I look like. I'm not silly. I have a very nice face.
Do you do a lot of online dating?
Yeah, I was pretty well the only.
Why?
Yeah, it's all because it's sort of frowned upon to chase women around the parks these days.
I haven't found one for me in the traditional sense, the traditional methods. So why not try something completely left field?
Wow.
They look fairly normal though, Georgie.
They do, but looks can be deceiving, Deb. And there for the whole process was relationship expert John Aiken, who joins us now. John.
Good morning.
Thousands and thousands of applicants for you to sift through. How difficult was it to narrow the field and choose the final entries?
It's a very difficult process. It goes for well over 2 months. You're watching all the videos, you're reading about their bios, you're testing them, you're meeting them one-on-one.
And what are you looking for?
Well, for me, because we all use different elements, but I'm looking at certain personality traits, communication style, and also just how clingy they are in relationships. But one of the real challenges is that you often get a match that you're really happy with, but then one of them will drop out because they've found love somewhere. And so you're never quite sure leading all the way up.
Oh, so before they get to the filming, right.
Or they'll get really cold feet and they'll just say, I can't do it, it's too much. And so you're constantly looking at different pairings leading right up to the time you press play in the experiment.
And John, what happens? How do the people that we saw right there in the audition tapes go from that to what we're seeing unfolding on our screens now?
Well, I think what you see there, and I watched that with a smile on my face.
In a very short period of time.
Yeah, because they are essentially kind of awkward on those audition tapes, and they're fragile. They're not sure what they're getting into. But then they get into the experiment and they really start to not only try and fall in love, but get used to the group. And then they start to get their feet, and you see some people really shine. Others, on the other hand, it's all too much for them. And we're starting to see that now. After about 3 weeks, the couples that aren't good together typically start to fizzle out and leave.
You're obviously very good at reading people and assessing and listening to how they communicate. It's what you do for a living. In how many of those cases did they not turn out to be what you expected?
Oh, good question. I mean, a lot. I've got to be honest with that. And that's why it really is an experiment. It's unpredictable, it's unorchestrated. Because, you know, you test their communication patterns and skills, and then you put them in. Some become louder and more abrasive, and others kind of shrink and really shy away from the spotlight. And I think that's because they think that they're ready for the experiment. But cameras 24/7 for 10 weeks is extremely difficult to cope with.
Especially when they're vulnerable.
Very vulnerable. And they're trying to fall in love and get it right. And so we're surprised, just like everyone else, sitting on the couch, as to what they do.
And you put them into you know, unusual situations that for some are quite unnatural, but, you know, we're now seeing them going on their group holiday together.
Yes.
How is that all playing out? Because seemingly it seems as though they're getting along okay.
It plays out in the early stages quite well, but then you're going to watch tonight, it kind of all goes horribly wrong for some of them. And that's why we throw these real-world challenges at them, because, you know, people do go away together in groups. They do have to get along with different personalities. And what we're seeing with Sam and Ines, for instance, is that because they're not happy with their partners, they think, well, this is a good opportunity to cross boundaries and have an affair. Now, we also have the Boys and Girls Night coming up tonight. And one of the things we've never seen before on this experiment at any stage is the clash with the sisterhood. And you're really going to see some fireworks tonight, not so much from the guys, but from the women.
And what's that all about?
There's a huge amount of competitiveness, and rumours really start to create fractions in the group. And, of course, Elizabeth comes back and confronts a couple of individuals at the table. That doesn't go well.
Oh, gosh, you've got us on the edge of our seat.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We don't know what they're going to do.
Are you satisfied that there's enough authenticity still here? Are these people really still ultimately on that search for finding their true love?
They are. Yes, we do have some...
Say that with your hand on your heart.
No, it is true. We do see a lot of people struggling, but, you know, for instance, last night, Cam and Jules, you know, Cam for the first time
Which
said...
was lovely.
We love them.
Yeah, that he loves her. And I think people are seeing with them, this is an experiment that can work, that their connection was strong early on and it's just sort of growing. I think also Mike and Heidi have this immense sexual chemistry, which people are fascinated with. And Michael and Martha are kind of a slow burn, you know, the Greek Kim Kardashian. You know, can she let this school teacher in? And I think you're going to see a softness with her.
Okay.
Are you writing the promos for this show?
Look
well,
at
you get... look,
You're
I'm
so
invested.
close to them, aren't you?
I know.
Yeah,
I want them to get over the line. People don't realise that. Like, you know, when they don't and they leave the experiment, we're as disappointed and deflated as everybody else.
Well, there is a reason why everyone is tuned into this. It's not for the faint-hearted, pardon the pun, but it is compelling TV. Thank you, John. Always good to see you.
Great stuff.
Let's hope that love does prevail. Married at First Sight, of course, is back on Channel 9 tonight at 7 p.m.